driving, Dart First State provides transportation that is clean, safe, reliable, and affordable. Plan your trip and get real-time bus information with the free Dart Transit app. Scan your phone to pay your fare with the free Dart Pass app. So what are you waiting for? Try transit today. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
Good morning, Wilmington. My name is Vincenza, and I have my dynamic co-host with us today. Ivan, how are you, Ivan?
I was about to curtsy. I had to catch myself real quick.
You were like, let me take a bow.
Yeah, let's take a bow. Good morning, Wilmington. Yes. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Before we get started, I wanted to take this time to honor someone and dedicate this show today to a former Miss USA 2019, Chesley Christ. She was an Emmy-nominated TV correspondent, a dynamic woman, just incredible all around. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, she took her life over the weekend, and it was very, very disheartening, very shocking to the world.
Yeah.
Not only did it jolt the entire pageant community, and for those of you who don't know or just tuning in for the first time, I'm very much involved in the pageant community. I'm the executive state director of the Miss Delaware USA and the Miss Delaware Teen USA organization, which is affiliated with the Miss USA, Miss Teen USA, and Miss Universe organization. And this jolted the entire pageant community, but it shook the world.
It did. You know, one thing that, like what I know her for was to be free with her hair in that pageant world. Yes. It was such a huge thing. And for black women, their hair is so important. Mm-hmm. And I was watching an interview with her, and I watched it way back when, but I recently watched it this weekend, the weekend that just passed, and she was talking about, as a black woman, she was conflicting with, should I or shouldn't I? And she was like, no, I am. I'm gonna go out with natural hair. So beautiful young lady. And let's not forget, like, you know, that mental space is real. You know, depression is real. Yes, it is. So we definitely here at DETV, not just Good Morning Wilmington, want to dedicate this show to her, but also to anyone out there that's watching that is struggling with depression, that's struggling with some type of mental illness, to get help. And where can they get the help from?
Yes, so we have a local nonprofit organization. They've been on the show before, the Trauma Survivors Foundation. The CEO and President Dennis Carrieri was on the show, one of our guests, and he talks about mental health and helping those who have been through trauma. And it just has all these resources and opportunities and education that he offers. Just go to the traumasurvivorsfoundation.com. If you are in need of anything or just feeling any type of doubt, please seek help. Please check in on your friends. I say this often, check in on those who you think are the strongest, because chances are they need you the most. I used to
have this saying, Vin, that it was like, where does Superman go? You know, like you could carry the weight. And I'm gonna speak about myself. I can't speak about anybody else, but myself as a black man. You know, I carry so much weight. I have 18 people alone just in the business that I have to make sure that it's okay. And then, you know, home, daughter, son, you know, and father, mom. I mean, mother. I say mother. Son. You know what I mean? And it's just like, where do I go when I need help? You know, and with a lot of people, they don't realize that DETV was created out of depression. You know, I was running around and I went everywhere. I went to the synagogue. I went to a Buddhist temple. I went to church. I ended up in the Buddhist temple, and at that point, I learned how to channel a lot of like just fear, anger, and depression, and that's why why we're here now. But if you need help, again, please feel free. It's okay to be in therapy. It's okay.
Yes, it is.
It's okay, because, you know, growing up in a black community, it's taught to us in an indirect way that you're a punk, you're a sucker. You know, if you go get help, go get the help.
Yes.
Because you have a lot to live for. a lot to live for.
And it's okay to not be okay.
It's okay,
right?
yes.
And I say it often, embrace those bad days. I always say to my sister, all right, I'm taking today as an L, but tomorrow's gonna be a W.
I don't take no L's. I don't take no L's, girl. I'm not taking no L. We gonna win. Everything that we touch, we gonna win.
We're gonna manifest that.
Right now.
We're gonna manifest that today.
We gonna make history.
Yes, I love that.
And speaking of history,
that's right. Good segue.
I
I was like, okay, this is perfect. Ivan's gonna make a great segue. That was a great segue. Go for it, Ivan.
You saw that?
I saw that.
Black History Year. Bam. In your face. Not month, a year. Black History Decade. There's a lot to be proud for in the world, and a lot of people made history, but what I love is the history that's being made here in Delaware.
Yes.
You know, shout out to one person that, you know, I'm gonna give two people that I absolutely love that's making history. Logan Herring of Reach Riverside and Aaron Bass of, I was gonna say Reach Riverside, of Eastside Charter School. Those two guys are making history for the community, and I love it. So special shout out to you guys. If you know someone making history right now, please put it in the comments below and just share it, because we're gonna spread some love, right?
Yes, and we're gonna take this time to honor Black History Month. Yesterday I was on Instagram. That's one of my favorite social media platforms, and I noticed the governor of Delaware made a post recently honoring Black History Month. And if you wanted to get involved, wanted to check out some of the activities, even virtually, go to history. I believe it is history.delaware.gov to find out how and ways you can celebrate Black History Month in the state of Delaware, which is very important. You know, I woke up this morning and I said, you know what, there's some really, really important women in my life that I would like to honor.
Who's that?
My best friend of over 30 years, Tamisha Davis Coles. She's, I want to honor her today. Well, today, I honor her all the time.
Right.
Honor her this month, but also one of our hosts on DETV, who has been one of my role models since I entered the pageant world, Ashley. I want to say Ashley Coleman Thayer.
Yeah,
I have to say her maiden name because a lot of the pageant world knows her as Ashley Coleman. She is the first and only Delaware representative to win the national title of Miss Teen USA in 1999. So we are very lucky to have her on DETV.
Yo, she's killing it. Like,
she is.
Like Ashley, if you don't know, Ashley is, she's one of our chefs that cook. It's Health and Self with Ashley Thayer, and all her dishes that she create are healthy for you. And she's a mother of, how many? Is it four girls? Four beautiful young ladies, and she's just amazing. So shout out to Ash. Love you, Ash.
Love you.
All right, all right.
So we have some, we've talked about our guests. We have some incredible guests that are on the show today, which I love meeting everyone that comes on this show, because born and raised in Delaware, you think you know it all.
Right.
I do not. I have to say.
Girl, you may smell my coffee. What you say?
Make a really good YouTube.
Right.
So let's talk about our guests. We have Stephanie Staats and June Crockett of the YWCA, nonprofit organization that focuses on eliminating racism and empowering women, which I am all about.
Oh, amen. And why, if you don't know, the YWCA is down on King Street, right, ladies? What is it? Madison Street. Like I said, it's right down on Madison Street. So make sure you check the YWCA out.
Yes.
What's the website? We'll get to that? Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah. Who else we got?
Let's save it. We have two more other guests we have to talk about.
Them.
We have Stephanie Cory, president of the Association of Fundraising Professionals of the Brandywine Chapter. Very excited to talk to her. Actually, the first thing I said to her when she walked in, I need your business card, because I want to learn a lot about fundraising, and you're always important to educate yourself about fundraising correctly. We also have Todd Veale, executive director of Laffey McHugh Foundation, which is a private nonprofit in the city of Wilmington that provides funding to nonprofits who are meeting the needs of underserved communities.
Gotta love it, man. Gotta freaking love it. And you know what I love about Delaware, and but especially Wilmington. Sorry, I grew up in Wilmington.
Tell us.
Is that the people in Wilmington are doing some amazing things, and they're not doing it for self, they're doing it for the community.
Yes.
So I think what people can take away today from this episode is the how-to. The how-to and the why. So if you don't know, my question to everyone that's going to pop on this stage today is why? What's your why? So prepare, get ready. We'll be right back after these messages. We got to pay the bills. We'll be right back.
Let DART do the driving. DART First State provides transportation that is clean, safe, reliable, and affordable. Plan your trip and get real-time bus information with the free DART Transit app. Scan your phone to pay your fare with the free DART Pass app. So what are you waiting for? Try transit today. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
This message is brought to you by Newcastle County Government.
The speed at which the vaccine has come about has given a few folks pause. But when you're losing 500,000 lives in a span of 6 to 8 months, you must respond quickly. The good news is the technology, the messenger RNA vaccination, is 30 years old. It's been in the lab waiting for the opportunity to take place. Now, most vaccines have taken years to perfect, but you weren't in the kind of crisis that we're in right now. I mean, this is the largest pandemic in 100 years. So you've got to respond quickly because it's responding quickly. And that's the misperception. It's old technology applied in a very new way for something that was deadly and continues to be.
Welcome back to Good Morning Wilmington. Today is amazing. So sitting down on the plaza with us are two very important members of the YWCA, a nonprofit organization focused on eliminating racism and empowering women right here in Wilmington, Delaware. Please welcome CEO Stephanie Staats and
Work First Program Coordinator June Crockett.
I had that all screwed
I know,
up.
it's okay.
I don't, first time.
Right.
First
okay,
time. All right, ladies, welcome.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. So tell our viewers a little bit about what is the YWCA. Let's start with that first.
Mm-hmm. So YWCA Delaware's mission is to eliminate racism and empower women. Okay. And we have been working toward achieving that mission for 127 years in Delaware. Mm-hmm. Our home base is in Wilmington. We have 4 locations throughout the state, and like so many other organizations, we have learned to pivot and do a lot more remotely. Yeah. Our mission, we work in 4 different programmatic buckets, if you will. So that's how we work toward achieving eliminating racism and empowering women. Those buckets are housing, health and safety, economic empowerment, and racial and social justice.
Nice.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to visit the website when I was sent who our guests will be, and I was saying to June and Stephanie that I was really, really impressed with this resource that we have in the state of Delaware for young women and women of color. I think that it's very much, there's a need for it, very much a need for it. And you know me, I'm all about empowering women. Right. All about empowering them. So the more resources and education that are out there for empowering women and women of color, I think is very, very much necessary. Now, June, tell us, what is the need? Tell us the need of the YWCA. Tell our viewers about that.
Well, it kind of piggybacks on what you said. Empowering women is crucial. And we understand that by empowering women, we're also empowering those that they love, so their families. Yeah. So we're not just focused on one group, we're focused on the whole dynamic. And we also realize that we can support women and people of color in ways that we have expertise in. Workforce readiness, career development, and entrepreneurship, which I'll talk to you about a little bit later. Or should I go right into it?
Go right into it.
I'll go
right into it.
Wow, yeah. So, I mean, we are super excited. We've been working on this for quite some time, and we recently launched an e-commerce site for entrepreneurs. It's called YWMarketplace. Nice. And it's amazing. A little bit about it is it's not only good for entrepreneurs, especially new ones, but it's also good for our communities. There are lots of apps out there that talk about, hey, if you want to support a Black-owned business or a women-owned business, go here and we can direct you. I've been on those apps, they're not always succinct, but here at YWMarketplace, this e-commerce site allows you to get beautiful services and goods, and 10% of what you're purchasing, the amount, goes right back to the community, comes right back to those that we serve. So that alone is amazing.
Yeah.
But also for entrepreneurs of color and women, it's a site where you can, no matter how far along you are in the process, you can do an application on YWMarketplace.org. And in fact, if you do an application and complete your profile by the end of this month, you will be grandfathered into a lot of perks. And just so you know what those are, we have some founding sellers, entrepreneurs that are already on that site. But if you join by February, the end of February, you will also be in that group to gain access to discounted entrepreneurial workshops and boot camps and coaching. We have a DIY lab where you can come in and do some social media things if you need to set up cameras and take pictures of your goods. And then also, and I think most importantly, you'll have a voice.
Right.
By being a founding seller, you'll have the opportunity to be an advisor. You'll be on an advisory committee to help us understand, as an agency, what can we do further to support you as an entrepreneur? What can we do now? What can we do later? Help us build this so that it's great, not just for you guys and new entrepreneurs, but the entire community. So that alone is just super, super excited, and I don't know what else to say about it. We're thrilled.
It sounds like a full-fledged, a full-circle environment for, like, I have an idea, I want to be an entrepreneur, and this is how and this is what I can do to participate in.
Absolutely.
Is this program just for women?
No, so women and minority-owned businesses. So any person of color
Love it.
and women.
Love it.
And that's important because as we do, eliminate racism, empower women, that means the whole entire community. So we are trying to uplift them to be successful. I should say, if someone is interested in being an entrepreneur and they haven't launched a website, they haven't gotten to that point yet, no worries. Just come to us. You can use YW Marketplace as your launching website.
Nice.
We can get you started. We can help you with PayPal or whatever it is you're going to use, Shopify, to take in money. And it's just an easy breezy way to not only put your foot in the door of being an entrepreneur, but to be supported.
Yeah.
And that's what we love to do.
And especially in this world today, right? Everything, the world has changed. E-commerce has changed, right?
Yes.
And it's not like, knocking on the door and sometimes going to stores, or even, remember back in the day, if you had a Donnelly directory, right, you would just find a business, right? But those days are gone. So I think what you ladies are doing and the programs that you're having is phenomenal, because if you see it, they're not mentioning anything in there about race. Their thing is unity. Their thing is just bringing people together with a common goal, and I love it. I love it.
Let's touch on the WAN program.
Yeah.
Stephanie, are you able to?
Sure, absolutely.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
So to piggyback on what June was sharing with all of us, the marketplace kind of lives under our WAN program. WAN is an acronym. We love those in the nonprofit sector. It's moving new direction. We welcome everyone, but that's the acronym that we have. And so we have 2 tracks for people who participate in the program. One is for those who want to start their own business or grow their own business. The other track is for people who want to be more marketable for jobs, switch careers, maybe there's not a steady history of employment, to help people really identify their goals and be able to achieve them. And then the overarching goal is to increase your household income. So, we are in these 4 programmatic buckets very intentionally.
Yeah.
There's the economic empowerment piece of it, health and safety piece of it. We have our Sexual Assault Response Center. That we offer counseling, 24/7 support.
Very important.
Through that arm. On our housing bucket, we offer emergency and transitional housing for homeless families. And in addition to that, we also have housing programs to help people build assets. So we have a first-time homebuyers program, we have rental assistance programs, et cetera. So we're really very intentionally trying to envelop the individual and make sure that they have what they need and easy access to it to achieve their full potential.
Excellent, excellent.
And so you ladies have a lot going on down there. How about the young women choosing program? What is that about?
So we have a couple different programs for young women. Really, they are all kind of rooted in civic engagement.
Okay.
So we have a YW Leaders program that we just started to pilot in 2020, late 2020. It's all a mush for all of us, right? 2020, so somewhere in there.
I'm still thinking 18.
Yeah, right. I'm with you. And so that program is designed for groups of young people who were civically minded, don't really understand or are wanting to learn more about how to organize, how to be engaged, what is the process, how can they affect change? And in addition to that, and in the spirit of having wraparounds, right, to hit all the big buckets with everyone, we also have youth development programs for college and career readiness. A lot of it mirrors what we offer for adults.
I love it. Wow.
Now, how can women or women of color or businesses, how can they sign up to be a part of this organization?
So check out our website.
Okay, what is the website?
It is YWCADE.org.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I was about to say
I heard
that.
you.
I was about
I
to
heard
say
you
that.
had it.
Fill in the blank for me.
Sure.
If you are a woman and you need
a nurturing environment to help you be able to focus, feel whole, be whole, and reach your full potential and be able to have the ripple effect on your family and your community, we're the place for you.
Bam, that's all I wanted.
That's
I'm
important.
good. I'm good.
That's very good.
Is there anything else that you want to tell the viewers?
Well, we thank you for having us here today.
Our
We
pleasure.
are kind of, one of those unknown gems, as they say.
Yes.
So any
Yes.
opportunity to be able to share, the breadth of the programs that we provide.
Keep coming back.
Thank you.
Nah,
We'd love
make
to
sure
be
they keep
here.
coming back. Every time you got something. We want to spread the love and the news of what you ladies are doing. I think it's phenomenal. It's just it's an ecosystem of greatness, of just building Wilmington up again and starting with the women, because we all know women are the head of the household,
Yes.
right? So
We're ahead of the world. What are you talking about?
can we play a song, Beyonce? Who run the world? Like we have no win.
Sorry.
It's cool.
June, Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really do appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedules to be
Yes.
with us today and
Yes.
tell us a little bit more about the YWCA program and its initiatives. And we wish you best of luck in the new year and as your organization continues to grow.
Thank you so much.
And
Really
you're always
appreciate it.
invited. Always invited. Thank
We'll
you,
be back.
ladies.
We will be back.
Okay, all right. And just like that, we'll be back with your downtown update with Lani. All right, Downtown Visions.
Hi, I'm Lani Schweiger of Downtown Visions with your Downtown Update. The Dine Downtown deal is back now through March. When you dine in or take out at any 5 downtown eateries and send your receipts to Downtown Visions, you will get a gift card to the business of your choice for 20% of what you spent. It's that easy. Go to downtownwilmingtonde.com for more details or visit us on Facebook at Downtown Wilmington DE. With so many great theaters downtown, there's always something to do. The Grand Opera House has great comedy favorites coming through with Whitney Cummings and Colin Quinn. Theater N has a variety of art house films showing, and they have the Wilma Rock Circus on February 4th, which is really exciting to have back in Wilmington. If you like live music, the Queen is the place to go. They've got Spooky Speaky, and you can find local live music at Tonic Seafood and Grill. Art Loop is back on Friday, February 4th, and for more details, visit artloopwilmington.org. If you want to learn about Black History Month and have fun painting, head over to Artscapes on February 5th, or you can paint your vision for 2022 at Lafayette Gallery. The Wilmington Library has a lot of great guests coming through, including a book signing with Jason Reynolds and the start of the Living Legends series. If you're in the mood to dance, the Grand Dance Ballet is back on February 4th. And Valentine's Day is right around the corner. At Tonic, you can check Sean Riley singing Sinatra, or if you want a romantic date night, make reservations for Bardea, Lake Javier, Cafe Mezzanotte, or La Fia Bistro. I'm Lani Schweiger of Downtown Visions with your Downtown Update.
DETV has been Delaware's premium provider of creative digital and broadcasting solutions that bridges communities and connects people. We create great stories for all audiences. We deliver independent news throughout Delaware. We are digital platform innovators. And we develop marketing and sales solutions so you can stay connected to your audience. Now, why do we do what we do here on DETV? We do it because we care. So, keep watching and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Remember, DETV, online, on air, on time.
It's on you.
All All right, welcome back, everyone. We have our next guest, Stephanie Cory, President of Association of Fundraising Professionals of the Brandywine Chapter. Stephanie, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, yes, we're so excited. So tell our viewers a little bit about what is the Association of Fundraising Professionals?
We are part of a worldwide network of chapters, more than 240 chapters with 30,000 members.
Nice.
And our focus is providing professional development and promoting ethical fundraising among fundraising professionals.
Nice.
Excellent, excellent. So tell our viewers a little bit about like how can they become a member or find out more information about this organization.
Certainly, we have a website, AFP as in Fundraising Professionals, brandywine.org.
Okay.
And our members include development directors, executive directors, sometimes volunteers who are involved in fundraising, like board members.
Nice,
Excellent,
nice.
excellent. I know as soon as I saw Stephanie's profession, I said, oh, I can't wait to chat with her because I want to learn more about fundraising and how to do it correctly. Do you think that is a very common mistake when individuals are organizing fundraisers?
I think there are some ethical issues that people aren't necessarily aware of, and the association partnered with other organizations and nonprofits like the Council for Advancement and Support of Education to come up with 25 ethical principles of fundraising. So it's really a great resource for people who maybe liken fundraising to sales and think perhaps it's okay to compensate a fundraiser based on a percentage of funds raised, which is actually considered quite unethical.
Now, I'm going to tell you, as a nonprofit, DETV is a nonprofit, it is, the fundraising aspect is a whole thing. It's a thing inside of a thing, right? So I think that if you're a nonprofit out there, get in contact with them. Definitely, if you don't know, because there's a lot of rules and regulations, and what Leslie says, right, is I'm not going to jail for nobody. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that you raise funds the correct way, because it's not just about raising funds, but it's also about maintaining relationships with your funders.
Exactly.
You know, and I think that when nonprofits and new nonprofits understand that, that's when the game's change. Then you know what I mean.
Yes, no, I totally agree with you. Now, let's talk about the current membership leaders. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and are there any special projects in the works?
Yes, we have a wonderful volunteer board of directors, a variety of committees. We have, sort of piggybacking on what you were talking about with the YWCA, we have an inclusion, diversity, equity, and access committee that is ensuring that our programming is meeting the needs of all of our members, and we have a lot of friends that aren't members that partake in our programming. We also have a national event that we participate in every November called National Philanthropy Day, where we honor fundraising professionals, fundraising volunteers, funders, and it's a great day of education and celebrating those individuals.
Wow, that's excellent.
Love
That's
it.
excellent. So tell us a little bit more about the efforts to help nonprofit entities with fundraising.
Certainly, our main goal is to assure that fundraising professionals know what they're doing, and
Right.
and part of it is also the networking connections you make. So I know who in the sector I can call and say, hey, you're doing a golf outing. I have a question. What can you answer this for me?
Okay.
And it's also about teaching the best practices, new trends. So we offer educational programming throughout the year that is open to anyone who's interested.
That's what I wanted to touch on. Like, how can people get more information or sign up for that? Because like, there's a lot of nonprofits, a lot of say Black nonprofits that need that help. They don't know where to start. How would just nonprofits in general, just say in general, get that information?
Yeah, again, our website, AFP-Brandywine.org, and we're open. We'd love to add people to our mailing list to know what's happening. We send out job postings, and we also have scholarships available to help defray the costs of membership or attending programming. So we want to be an inclusive organization and be accessible to nonprofits of all sizes.
Now, who is eligible for the scholarship opportunities?
You know, it really depends who's applying in that cycle. So fundraising professionals primarily.
Any age?
Oh, any age.
Any age, okay.
Any age, and we do have a special young professionals membership category, as well as a small nonprofit category, where the dues are reduced for members of those. I don't say groups, but
Nice. You have an event coming up tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, right? February 3rd?
February 16th.
So
All the days are blending already.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Well, you're so busy, Ivan.
Look, the day is
you're
Tuesday.
Nonstop. Yeah, real quick, everyone, if you ever need to touch base with Ivan, he does not sleep. So he's awake at all times.
My assistant has an assistant, okay? February 16th.
Yes, tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, we have the chair-elect of AFP Global coming to visit us virtually to talk about inclusive leadership in the sector.
Oh, wow. How can people sign up for that?
Again, our website? AFP-Brandywine.org, and
I already have the business card.
she is an amazing speaker, very knowledgeable woman, and I believe she is the first woman of color that will be chair next year for AFP Global.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Excellent, excellent. So do you have social media?
We
because I know
do.
we live in a social media world.
That's
and
the world.
other ways to have our viewers connect with you, the organization. Tell us what social media platforms and how they can
AFP is on Twitter. That's not our most active platform, and I'm not a Twitter person.
No, it's okay. Twitter's been a little bit weak lately. I don't know what's going on.
Yours is? Shoot,
not mine, just
my black Twitter is jumping.
Really?
You know there's a such thing called Black Twitter, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So if you're out there and you want to get information to the black and brown community, hashtag Black Twitter.
The hashtag? Okay.
Yeah, it is a whole metaverse inside Twitter. It is huge. Black Twitter. Yeah, check it out.
Well, it's good to
we're on Facebook. We're on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Okay.
My favorite platforms are Facebook personally, and then LinkedIn.
Okay.
It seems like it's easier accessibility for your followers to connect on Facebook and LinkedIn, just because maybe the age group is where they're using those social media outlets.
All ages, I think, from recent college grads up to seniors.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right.
Excellent.
Before we go, fill in the blank for me. You ready?
Okay.
All right. If you're a nonprofit in Delaware and you're struggling with
fundraising, go ahead and reach out to AFP. We'd love to connect you with resources.
Boom. See how simple that is?
I love this.
Simple, simple. Yes. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the people about your wonderful organization?
Even if you're not a professional fundraiser, I think we can be of value to anyone that's involved in the nonprofit sector for an organization that, even if it's just 1% of your budget, it depends on fundraising, might as well grow that and make sure you're conducting your fundraising ethically.
Love it, love it, love it.
Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us today on DETV Good Morning Wilmington. It's always a pleasure. I was very excited to connect with you, so we will definitely be in touch after today. Everyone, Stephanie Cory, President of Association of Fundraising Professionals of the Brandywine Chapter. Check her out.
And who's coming up next?
Todd.
That's right.
From Laffey McHugh Foundation.
Nonprofit. So this is like, what's so crazy? I get so hyped. I get so hyped when I come to DTV, right? You know what's so hyped? What I love, man? I love that we have a platform that can just spread good information. Like, these are nonprofits that are here to help the city and the freaking state and all people. Not just white, not just black, but all people. So make sure if you don't have your pen and pad, rewind the tape. It's on Instagram, Facebook, it's on Twitter, and it's on LinkedIn right now streaming. Just rewind when it's over and just contact these wonderful, wonderful organizations and tell them Big I sent you, because your whole nonprofit will be different. And if you're a person who's looking to open an entrepreneur, or lady open this entrepreneur, look, it could be different tomorrow. All right, we'll be right back.
Yes.
All right, with Todd Veale. Bam, in your face. 1, 2, 3, 4.
How would I describe DETV? DETV is a group of us who are just doing what we love to do best, and that's bringing Delawareans the news that's been missing for far too long in TV news.
DETV to me is a bunch of hardworking professionals that come in and day out to provide the best content, the best programming that we can provide, because we care about this state and the viewers and the residents, our neighbors, our communities, our families, our friends. We want to just provide them with the best content possible, and we're so privileged to be able to do so.
I would describe DETV as a powder keg. Energy undefined.
Hungry now. Jeez. Thanks, Vin. Like
welcome.
V&M Bistro, one of our proud sponsors. We love them, and the food is freaking excellent. You know, I'm gonna talk to you like you don't own the place, right? I went and had eggplant, freaking phenomenal. And I used to, now check this out, my black butt used to work at a Jewish synagogue here in the city, right? And I'm used to eggplant, right? But having your eggplant was the best eggplant that I ever had.
Well, thank you. I will pass the compliments to the chef.
There you go. There you go.
Eggplant parmesan with our in-house made gnocchi. Right?
In the white wine sauce.
It was our Sunday sauce.
See, look, okay, let's get back to the show, because we got go to V&M Bistro, order today, buy a gift card, and tell people you love them.
Thank you. I appreciate the plug. All right, our next guest is Todd Veale, the Executive Director of Laffey.
Veale.
Excuse me, Todd Veale. Yes, thank you.
Veale.
Todd Veale, the Executive Director of Laffey McHugh Foundation. We are so excited to have you with us, Todd. Thank you so much.
Great to be here.
For being
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Tell us a little bit more about Laffey McHugh Foundation.
Sure. So we are a 501c3 foundation. So a foundation is in the business of giving money away. So money that was provided to the foundation began when it was founded in 1959.
Okay.
Alice Laffey McHugh, she was the only daughter of John Paul McHugh, or Laffey, who was one of the original lawyers of the DuPont Company. So she and her husband Frank created this foundation. The majority of the funding that supports it came in the 1960s. Okay. And so as a foundation, your job is to give grants to organizations. You can do it in a lot of different ways. And we've been just tracking since about 1990. We've distributed more than $90 million worth of grants. The majority of them have been in Delaware, and the majority of those have been in the Wilmington and Newcastle area.
That's huge. That's
huge. No, that's definitely a big deal. So now the foundation focuses, the main focus is here in the city of Wilmington or throughout the state, the tri-state area?
It's not limited to Wilmington, but the majority has been in Wilmington. I think the foundation, some foundations have very specific kinds of mission statements that in some cases can limit what they focus on. We don't really have that. Alice, when she first created the foundation, it was just supporting the neediest in the community. And the definition of the community started in Wilmington, but it's statewide. So we do support programs in Kent and Sussex County, but I would say maybe 75% or so has been focused on a lot of projects in the Wilmington area, which, you know, unfortunately there's tremendous amount of need in communities, and so we support, including the YWCA and other programs that are focused primarily. There's sort of a combination of things that we look at. So part of what we focus on are basic needs. So you've got the food pantries and emergency shelters and things that sort of solve an immediate problem.
Right.
But then we also look and spend maybe even more of our funding towards kind of mobility project. So what are some of the constraints in the community? How do you help people move up the ladder of success? And, and there's many, many fabulous programs that we're able to support as a result of that.
Todd, how long have you been a part of the foundation?
So I joined about 3 years ago, and I had worked in the commercial space. I worked in a technology company for many years, and then I worked at MB&A, which had a great, but unfortunately too short a history in Wilmington and the Delaware area, and then worked for some sort of startup companies. So I came in with maybe more of a commercial business mindset, and so it's been interesting because it's been transition as you meet with the nonprofits, as I've been certainly as well aware, that a nonprofit is still a business, and you've got to run the business side of it. And our goal then as funders is not to overburden a nonprofit. So, and unfortunately that can happen if we provide too much structure around the way that the information that we need, what we're asking of a nonprofit. So our goal is to try to reduce that kind of friction, to make it easy for a nonprofit to learn about us, for us to see if there's a match, and to provide funding.
Yeah. Is there the application process? Can you explain that? Because there's a lot of nonprofits, again, in the Black and brown community, that they haven't even tried to reach out because they don't know what the process is. And that's what I've learned being a nonprofit now is like, you know, okay, where do we go? You know, and a lot of nonprofits, they do act like a business, but they don't act like a nonprofit either. You know what I mean? Because they don't know the rules, the regs, and everything else. So what does that process look like? And in that process, like what are the dates that they can apply for the grant?
So, and each foundation sets its own sort of process for that. So with Laffey McHugh, we do funding in June and December. So our June funding cycle, the application just went live yesterday, and it's available until April 1 is when we'll be taking in applications. So in almost all applications, we will have spent some amount of time with the organization before they submit the application. Pre-COVID, almost always that was a visit to actually see the organization. Now it's going to be more Zoom calls, but it's really helpful for us to get to know the organization and to kind of walk through what are the types of things that they're working on, what are the constraints they have, and where might we be a good fit. So when you apply, the application itself, it's a series of questions. There are no trick questions in there. We're not intending to sort of, we just want to understand the story. And I think maybe some of the organizations that had not been historically applying might have felt like they needed to be a grant writer, or they needed a finance degree, or they needed something more than what they have, and they don't. We just want, we want to take the passion of an organization, particularly a smaller organization, and say, here's what we do, here's the community that we serve, here's how we serve them, and here's what we would do if we had funding. It's really not that much more complicated than that. The challenge we have, and the hard part of being a funder, is you do have to say no. And it depends each cycle, depending on how many requests we get, but 50 to 75% of the requests do get funded, which is great, but that's still a hard conversation to some of the other organizations. I'd say over the last year, what has really been a fabulous kind of transition that I've even noticed in the short time I've been here is we are reaching out to a lot more sort of grassroots, smaller organizations that hadn't come to us. So in our December cycle, for example, we funded 13 organizations for the first time. And what you'll find with a lot of the foundations is there are fabulous organizations that have been around, the YMCA, the YWCA, Ministry of Caring, Catholic Charities, others that do fabulous work that get funded on a regular basis. But it's these smaller, newer, more proximate kinds of organizations that we're really excited to fund, and many of them have been on your show in the past, and we're really excited because it gives us a chance to sort of extend our reach. And we, the funders, and in the case of Laffey McHugh, we're a staff of 3 people. We're not a subject expert in any of the areas that we support, so we rely on those organizations that are that proximate to say, well, what's working, what's not working, let's do more of what works, let's stop doing what doesn't work, and the smaller, more nimble organizations are able to do that.
I'm sorry. I know we have so many questions. Can you tell? Well, I have a question.
Money questions.
So what nonprofits do you currently work with right now?
So we funded 76 total nonprofits in December, and 100 and some odd over the course of the year. But just to think about some of the local ones, Fourth Dimension Leaders and Harper's Heart and the National Coalition of 100 Black Women.
Yeah.
Those are examples of organizations that we hadn't previously funded, that we learned about them. We participated in a program through the Proximity Project and Adnare Aline, where he brought some of these organizations into a group of funders to introduce us to them, and in a very informal setting. So it's, we just learned about the organization, like they're doing incredible work. And what's also happened, I think, for a lot of the funders is the kind of the metrics. You hear a lot about that you got to show metrics, and you got to spend all this time doing that. Well, you need some way as a funder to be able to look at, say you get 100 requests and you can fund 60 of them. You need some way to determine, like, where's the best place to put that money. But we don't need, like, we wouldn't expect a complete sort of a white paper on the issues, and we're looking for sort of short answers to important ways that help us sort of understand what that need is. And most of that is more conversational than it is anything else. So we would rather have that kind of an honest dialogue, and that's what, we'd say, okay, this makes sense. We're also a foundation that our average grant is in the $25,000 to $30,000 range. And we do some that are larger and some smaller, but in that sort of range. So we're probably going to be more of a catalyst than solving a fundamental problem. If you need to build a new building, we might participate, but in a small way. Where we can be really helpful is if you're trying to get from a certain stage of the organization to the next, and you need that sort of that jolt to get you there, or you want to try something. And we tend to do a lot of innovative kind of investing to say, we don't know if this is going to work. There's a mixtape program that Darrell Chambers is doing with super high risk people in the community. It's a really interesting idea. If it works, it could be really groundbreaking.
Yeah.
It may not, but we're okay with taking those kinds of chances, and the dollar amount is in a range that can enable some of those things, those experiments to take place. And then if they're successful, there's hopefully a plan to say, well, where's the next round of funding? When does the county, the city, the state, federal, larger foundations, when can they kick in to sort of sustain it and grow it?
I was actually on the call when Adnare reached out to me, and he's like, I want you to be on this call. And being a new nonprofit, right, I didn't know what to expect. But also being a business owner, you're sitting there and you're just, I'm listening to every question. And it was his organization and two other organizations, and they were so just inviting, right? And they wanted to know how they could help. Where they wanted to know, and they were listening they were doing more listening than talking. And he's right. You have you have organizations that they can fund your entire 3-4 years, but you have organizations like his that they can, like, I want to create a marketing department, my 30 grand, 25 grand. And that's where entrepreneurs need to start with the lower ones and work their way up. It's not like really, it's not rocket science, right? But you definitely need to know how to run a business. But it's there. The information that they provide is easy. It's there. And the great thing about it is they walk with you, through the whole ordeal. Is there anything else? Like, how much time we got? Because how much time we got? 400. Okay, thank you.
Not enough time.
Not enough time. Because you think about it, look, we got an organization here that will give you money. We have an organization here that will actually show you how to fundraise for the money, and we have an organization here showing you how to run a business. I mean, good gosh, it's like everything's here right now. Go ahead, Vin.
That's all right. That's all right. So, Todd, why don't you tell our viewers how they can find out more information about the Laffey McHugh Foundation? If you have a website, social media, please let us know, because our viewers, they follow. I'll tell you, Ivan, they really do follow.
We put our stamp on it. They're
very active. So tell our viewers a little bit.
Sure. So LaffeyMcHugh.org is our website, and so it was Alice Laffey, whose husband was McHugh, is where we get Laffey McHugh from. Okay. On that website is the link to our application and a little more information about kind of the types of programs we typically support, and a little guidance in terms of completing our application. You must be a 501c3 organization in a good standing with the IRS. apart from that, we don't have sort of hard levels of we fund things in a lot of different areas, but we don't have a set percentage because so many things have evolved, and especially now as we think about all the challenges in the community, and you heard some of them earlier in your show, that what might have started off as an educational challenge is really a mental health challenge. It's really an issue of access to transportation, to affordable childcare. There's so many issues that are now wrapping together that we don't want to sort of pigeonhole the way that we think about grant requests. It's like, well, what's the broad need, and how is this request going to help solve that problem? So any organization that's active in human services, education, we do a lot of programming for after-school types of programs, enrichment programs, workforce development programs, things that are helping people get to that next level. And really trying to break down the barriers. There's so many inefficiencies, as everyone knows, about if you're living in poverty, there's a lot, every day is hard. And when you look at how can we break down some of those barriers to make it a little bit easier, and each one contributes to that. And so we're not trying to solve poverty, for example, as a broad, but we're going to chip away at it and say, okay, well, what is the challenge you have, and how do you help and find those organizations? That's why we're really excited about some of these smaller sort of organizations, because they're making such a difference on a smaller number of people. And as a foundation, we're not as I think concerned about the total number of people, for example. And it's hard because you want to say, well, we helped 1,000 people, but if we really help 10, that's probably a better use of funding. So we try to balance those kinds of things, and it's and we fortunately, so as the staff, our goal is to recommend to our trustees who then make that difficult decision on the funding, and so the more we can learn about the organization through visits and other things, it's really helpful as we sort of build our case. And unfortunately, almost every one that we present, we want to fund, and so it becomes difficult when you have to say no. All
right, I got one for you. All right, fill in the blank. If you are an organization that needs a grant, the one of the tips I can give you is
have a good, I'll call it an elevator pitch, but have, like, if you literally, when you think of an elevator pitch, if I was on the 20th floor, you got on the elevator and we're going down to the basement, and you need to tell me what you do and what you would do with a grant. You've got as those floors go down, you've got a short, it's helpful for us to sort of try to get right to the heart of what is it that you do? Why do you exist, and what would you do with this money? Right. We're not, like any sort of, when you think of like the venture capital, we put money on people as much as anything else. The leaders, you saw with the YWCA, when you have a strong leader, we're counting on that. Like we expect things aren't going to go exactly as you plan. That doesn't happen in any world, nonprofit or profit. So you need a leadership team that's going to adjust and do the best that they can do with that. So we spend more time sort of focused on that, focused on, okay, if you hit all the green lights, here's where this will go. And and that's something that I think our trustees have been very, very open to.
Awesome. Todd, thank you so much for coming.
It's great to be here.
For more information, please check the website.
It is laffymchugh.org.
Beautiful. Thanks again for coming. Anything later on, if you think of something that you need to come on, make sure you reach out. We would love to have you back.
Yes, we'd love to have you back on the show.
Thank you. I'd love to be back. And I do want to say, so our two staff is Patty Hoffman, who's been at the foundation for a long time, is very well known, I think, in the community and does a fabulous job. And Kyle Shepard, who recently joined us as well. So we've got a small but really helpful team.
Awesome. Thanks again for coming.
All right, thank you.
Good morning, Wilmington. Next up, Ruben. You have a good time?
Always.
All right, we'll see you then. What camera? Huh?
DART do the driving. DART First State provides transportation that is clean, safe, reliable, and affordable. Plan your trip and get real-time bus information with the free DART Transit app. Scan your phone to pay your fare with the free DART Pass app. So what are you waiting for? Try transit today. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
Welcome back.
Another great show.
Another great show in the history books. Again, we have organization that funds an organization that funds nonprofits. We have an organization that will help you and teach you how to fundraise, and we have an organization that's helping women and minority business owners and entrepreneurs further and move throughout this e-commerce space.
I'm always learning something on this show. You know, you think you know it all, and you think you know your state, but you don't. And it's really neat that DETV Good Morning Wilmington is able to invite some dynamic people to come on the show and talk about some amazing things that we're offering in the community, in the state, and even in the tri-state area. So we thank all of our guests. We thank Todd Veale, Executive Director of Laffey McHugh Foundation, Stephanie Cory, President of the Association of Fundraising Professionals of the Brandywine Chapter, and Stephanie Staats and June Crockett from YWCA. Thank you so much for coming on the show. They're always invited back. Always. I think almost everybody that we've had on the show, I'd love to have back again.
I think even with this, right, I want them, if they're, information that they have, send it to us so we can get it out to the public, because we do have the largest Black and brown following in the state of Delaware when it comes to media.
Yes.
Had to hit that little shameless plug in
Yes,
there.
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Something to be very proud of, especially with Black History Month.
Black History Decade.
Decade forever.
Black History Decade.
But make sure you do check out the governor's post on Instagram. I thought that was a really great post talking about Black History Month and all the events that are happening throughout the state of Delaware. You can go to the website history.delaware.gov. I think that's very, very important. Educate yourself, continue to celebrate. Also, another big month, February, is also I Love to Read Month. And I am a big believer of literacy and promoting literacy. For those of you who don't know, I'm also a co-founder of the nonprofit literacy organization, Success Won't Wait. So literacy and promoting literacy and encouraging reading is near and dear to my heart. So another special, thing to celebrate in the month of February. But
we're reading today.
Yes,
we're reading today.
It is World Read Out Loud today. So Read Out Loud Day. So Brandywine 100 Library has invited Ivan and I to read live virtually. So follow us, check us out.
You know why this means so much to me?
Why?
Because when I was in high school, I read on a 5th grade level. Right? And when I went to college, my girlfriend in college took me to the library every day, and we ran through reading and comprehension. So it's for me to let little Black and brown kids, forget it, kids all over that had the problem that I have, to just say, I can do that too, I can be that. So that's what it means to me. So I'm glad to be a part of it. And speaking of part, sponsors.
We have to thank our sponsors.
Thank you, DART. Couldn't do it without you. Really appreciate it. Fly, love you. Couldn't do it without you. And most of all, my friends and family down at Out and About magazine. I'm sorry. My producer, let me come here. So my producer, right? She gives us cue cards to read so we don't forget.
We are very appreciative
so start with the cue card. Don't forget your sponsors, right? So look, she says, don't forget your sponsors, and then she goes to the next one. It's like Naj's birthday is Friday.
Oh, happy birthday,
Naj! All right.
Thank you.
Love you, girl. Couldn't do it without you.
Yes.
Really appreciate it. That's my homegirl, Naj. I met Naj maybe about 5 years. She's been with me for 5 years, and she's been absolutely amazing. I think we met in a park right after she graduated. She was like, "Can I come on board?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not? I don't got nothing else to do." And now she's the producer of the morning show. Love you. Good morning, Wilmington. Up next is Cooking with Chef Ruben here on DETV. We'll see you when we see you, but we see you next week. Make sure you love someone, hug someone, and be a part of some great stuff that this state and city is doing. And go eat at V&M Bistro.